Nagpasya si General Bantag na magsuot ng cowboy hat. Ito dedicated ito kay General Katapang, ang kawawang cowboy. Kaya ito naka-cowboy ako ngayon. Sa eksklusibong panayam, sinabi ni General Bantag na nais niyang sagutin ang mga bagong isyong pinasisingaw laban sa kanya. Dismayado si General Bantag dahil pinakita daw ni Remulla na duwag umano ito dahil ayaw mag-resign at kapituko sa pwesto. Nagpasaklolo rin daw kay PBBM.
Mayroon pa ba akong justice? Hindi kaya magiging bias kung andyan pa siya. Kayo na rin ang maging judge kung magiging impartial kaya, magkakaroon kaya ng justice. Karapatan nilang gumawa siguro ng gusto nilang gawin. Kasi hindi naman natin sila makontrol, di ba? Nagsasalita tayo, nagsasalita sila, walang katapusan eh.
Umaasa naman ang pamilya ni Persilapin Mabasa na dadalo si Suspended Bureau of Corrections Chief Gerald Bantag sa nakatakdang preliminary investigation bukas sa Department of Justice. Kaugnay ito sa dalawang kaso ng murder na kinakaharap ni Bantag at ng iba pang respondents tulad ni Bucor Deputy Security Officer Ricardo Zuleta. Ayon sa kapatid ni Persilapin na si Roy Mabasa, ito ay pagpapakita ng sinseridad ni Bantag sa proseso ng batas. Kagaya namin kaming pamilya ng biktima, humaharap kami at dapat harapin din nila.
Magsasubmit kami ng counter affidavit and the panel requires that it should be subscribed before them, then isasama namin siya. Pero kung titignan namin ay pwede naman na pasubscribe sa other prosecutors like Baguio prosecutors, then siguro hindi na kailangan na sumama.
Remulla, yung mga tao, ang simpatya na kay Bantag na. Yan ang isaksak mo sa kokote mo. Pangalawa, yung anak mo nahuli na nga sa pinagbabawal na gamot. Lalo pang bumagsak ang credibility mo. Yung mga statement ng mga witness di umano ninyo, puro inconsistent, sablay-sablay. Pati nga yung unang statement ng NBI, napansinin ninyo, nung unang bigay siya statement that there is no direct evidence pointing to Bantag. Senyalis na ho yan, Mr. Secretary. Senyalis na po yan na medyo you are losing the battle in the public eyes. So, ibig sabihin nun, stop it. If matino kang tao na secretary, sabi, may tama na to. May problema ito si Secretary Remulla. Napaka-obvious na. If you are really serious in asking for justice on Persilapin, kung seryoso kayo, let the law roll. Boy, kunwari adviser nga ako. Kunwari lang. Ito payo ko lang. Yung mga tao, ang simpatya na kay Bantag na. Mas sa madaling salita, mas naniniwala yung tao kay Bantag kesa sa'yo. Una yon. Yan ang isaksak mo sa kokote mo. Pangalawa, yung anak mo nahuli na nga sa pinagbabawal na gamot. Nahuli na nga ho, di ba? Nahuli na siya. So medyo lalo pang bumagsak ang credibility mo. Okay? Pangatlo, yung mga statement ng mga witness di umano ninyo, puro inconsistent, sablay-sablay. Pati nga yung unang statement ng NBI, napansinin ninyo, nung unang bigay siya statement that there is no direct evidence pointing to Bantag. Naalala niyo yung NBI na yon? Dati daldal ng daldal yun eh. Hindi na rin nagdaldal. Doon palang kitang-kita mo na yung apat na yon, senyalis na ho yan, Mr. Secretary. Senyalis na po yan na medyo you are losing the battle in the public eyes. So, ibig sabihin nun, stop it. Stop, di ba? Medyo, ganun na. Kung gusto mong maayos to, payo ko lang naman sa'yo, ganun ka na. Sa English, shut up. Hindi ho, totoo. Tapos, hayaan mo na ho yung batas umikot. If matino kang tao na sekretary, pakikinggan mo yung sinasabi ko. Okay? Pero kung may iba kang motibo, aba ituloy mo yung gawin mo. Yung ginagawa mo nga, ituloy mo lang. Hindi, totoo. totoo lang. Ituloy mo lang, wala akong problema. Kasi sabi nga ni Yorme, ayoko sabihin to, nakakaya. Baka naman sabihin ni Yorme, dinadaldal ko yung mga kwentuhan namin. Sabihin ko ba? Unya-unya na lang, unya-unya. Hindi, totoo lang. Yun lang naman ang akin. Kasi etong bagong paandar na naman niya na sinabi niya itong weekend na i-recommenda daw niya sa Pangulo na pabagsakin. Ipa-fire si Bantag. Medyo sabi ko, may tama na to. May problema ito si Secretary Remulla. Napaka-obvious na. Kasi bakit mo pa sisisantehin, suspended naman na siya. Yung OIC na sobrang epal, yung pala desisyon ng OIC, naandyan naman na. Ang dami na nga dinidiscover kung ano na nga dinidiscover. Kulang na lang mag-discover siya ng Talano Gold dyan sa loob ng Bilibid Hindi totoo, di ba? Ang dami na dyan sa si Katapang, ang dami nang nadidiscover. Kulang na lang siguro talaga yung Talano Gold, mahanap niya andyan na kayo, naghahari na kayo. Bakit nyo pa kailangan na masibak tong si Bantag? Di napaka-obvious. The only reason why you are keep on blaming Bantag on Lapid case, it's because gusto nyo siya matanggal. That's the reason. Don't ever forget, if you are really serious in asking for justice on Percy Lapid, kung seryoso kayo, let the law roll. Let the evidence, 'di ba, na mapakinggan ng judge at eventually kung talagang may kasalanan na patunayan, di sama-sama nating kondinahin. 'Di ba? Kaya lang ngayon pa lang, sa mata ninyo parang demonyo na ito. Sa mata ninyo, guilty na. Tanggalin na yan! Sagabal yan! Sagabal yan! Parang ganun na di ba? Sagabal na Hindi maganda. It's not nice, ha? Kaya nga, Secretary Remulla, medyo ayos-ayos ng konti, ha? Kasi tignan nyo, ha? Si Remulla, si Secretary, ganun ang kanyang status ngayon. Gusto niyang matanggal si Bantag bilang Bucor chief, even if suspended na siya. Okay? Pero tingnan mo ito. Tingnan mo naman itong side ni Bantag kung ano ginagawa nila. Yung side ni Bantag, willing to face the music.
I suppose you had a very colorful love life secretary. And there were 4 women who are the mothers of your children. Are you still in good terms with the mothers?
Separated, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. Yes, we're in good terms. We're in talking terms, and including all my children. Some of them are the United States, and some are here.
Pero si Pimentel may agam-agam pa rin.
Considering that in your line of work, the moment you're the secretary of DSWD, and I suppose you'll be meeting a lot of women in your line of work, hindi po ba magiging sagabal sa trabaho mo yun na marami kang makikilalang babae?
When we are young, sir, we make mistakes. But I'm not ashamed to say that I made mistakes. And from that mistake, you have to make corrections and adjust. And you have to bring it all the way until you grow old.
For several years, and you have been in active military service, stationed in Europe from 1992 to 1996, to be an enlisted personnel in the U.S. Army.
Naging enlisted personnel ho pala kayo ng ng US Army. Dinannounce niyo ba yung inyong Filipino citizenship?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask for an executive session on this matter.
I move to defer deliberation of the nominee, Secretary Erwin Tulfo.
Naging enlisted personnel ho pala kayo ng ng US Army. 1988 to 1992. Ang tanong ko lang ho, dinenounce niyo ba yung inyong Filipino citizenship?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask for an executive session on this matter.
He's asking for an executive session to answer the question.
Okay, so may we skip that unless you have other questions, Honorable Malapitan.
Wala na, sige, yun na lang.
Okay, so the Honorable Secretary is requesting for an executive session. So will the members proceed first with asking other questions before we go to the executive?
Mr. Chair, just to formalize, there's a request motion for an executive session.
Is there any objection?
Maybe we can let all the members of the commission ask questions first before proceeding to the executive session.
Okay lang. We agree to that.
Okay. So we first allow all members to finish asking their questions before we proceed to the executive session. Okay. Honorable Marcoleta, you're now recognized to ask questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, a follow-up to the question of my colleague, Congressman Malapitan. It's about your being an enlisted personnel of the United States Army for several years, and you have been in active military service stationed in Europe from 1992 to 1996. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to be an enlisted personnel in the U.S. Army, either you are a citizen by birth, meaning to say you are a U.S. citizen, or you have acquired U.S. citizenship by naturalization, or that you are a lawful permanent resident. Under what circumstances did you, what is the status of your citizenship when you were enlisted member of the U.S. Army and when you serve as an active military service station in Europe, sir?
Mr. Chair, with all due respect,
Senator Estrada.
Congressman Marcoleta, I think the good secretary has asked for the executive session with regard to your
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Maybe
And
we can-
there's another
we can,
question.
jump to another question.
My other question, Mr. Secretary, also appears in the report of the commission. This is the PIR, the Profile Investigation Report, because it is indicated here that you were also convicted 4 times in the RTC in Pasay City. Is this still covered by the executive?
So it was centered only on the citizenship.
Okay.
Can I answer that, Your Honor, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please, Mr. Secretary.
That case is related to my profession as a journalist, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. There was a conviction, that's correct, but it is because of my line of work as a journalist. It's a libel, 4 counts of libel. Same individual, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
What does that exactly mean, Mr. Secretary, if you were convicted 4 times in a case involving a single individual?
No,
It's
not for convictions, actually, it's the count, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, 4 counts of libel that I was convicted. by the same individual. I was a columnist and I write a story about the person, about the government official actually. And I have my sources and I was compelled by the court to divulge my sources, but I did not. So it went all the way up to the Court of Appeals and to the Supreme Court, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. And
Yes,
that's all.
that is exactly the point, Mr. Chair. There are 4 counts of libel, and you were convicted by the Pasay Court, and on appeal, the Court of Appeals affirmed the conviction all the way up to the Supreme Court. And so, by record, and as it appears in the file report, Mr. Secretary, it stands as a fact that you were convicted for counts of libel. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I admit that there was a case, but it was, like I said, in line with my work as a journalist, and it's one of the hazards of the trade, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Well, of course, you were precisely convicted because of your work. You are a journalist, but that does not change the situation. You can be convicted either way in any other vocation, but the fact stands that there is a conviction. The problem we're trying to press out here, Mr. Chair, is whether or not his conviction will be an issue in the process of confirmation, because as the Supreme Court enunciated in several cases, Mr. Chair, libel is an offense that involves moral turpitude. And in some other cases disposed by the Supreme Court, there were certain people who were disqualified from holding positions because they have been convicted of crimes involving moral turpitude. This is the dilemma, Mr. Secretary. Of course, I am in support of your confirmation as Secretary of DSWD, and I believe you have just succeeded in proving to our people that you are qualified. But this is a problem that we need to trace out, Mr. Chair. How do we dispose this dilemma before us? Because it is in the report. I could not have asked you this question, Mr. Secretary, if it did not appear in the report submitted to us by the Commission on Appointments. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Chair, considering that there was a request and the line of questioning will be tackled within the executive session, since we are a collegial body, we have to tackle this as a group. So may I suggest and reiterate, Mr. Chair, that we proceed for an executive session. So move, Mr. Chair.
Okay, there's a motion duly seconded.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Escudero.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do take note of the comments of Congressman Marcoleta. However, I would like to state for the record as well that there are many pending bills, both in the House and in the Senate, to decriminalize libel. In fact, the visit by our own DOJ Secretary to the United Nations, that was in fact even suggested by the Canadian representative. And I myself am an author of a bill seeking to decriminalize libel. So if this would be taken against the nominee, and later on that bill is approved by Congress, I think it would be prejudicial, to say the least, and unfair if he would be taking that against him. Just for the consideration of the committee, Mr. Chairman, when we go into caucus later. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Escudero. So the body would like to proceed to the executive session already, or
May tanong ako.
we still have Senator JV, Lani, Senator Estrada, and Senator Cheese who would want to ask questions. So what is the pleasure of the body?
Mr. Chair, my question is no relation to the two issues with regards to his case and his citizenship. It is regarding the program of the DSWD.
Okay, so there's
Mr.
a
Chair.
pending motion which has been duly seconded.
Yeah, reiterate, there's an early request suggestion of our colleagues. I move to suspend the committee deliberation and proceed to have an executive session, Mr. Chair. And we can proceed with questioning after.
Okay, so there's a motion duly seconded. Any objection? Okay, we now have an executive session.
Members attending via WebEx platform to please stay on the online meeting room for the executive session. The non-member participants on board the WebEx platform will be transferred to the online lobby for the duration of the executive session. And the guests, officers, and staff of the commission physically present in this room are likewise requested to vacate the room immediately. And may I request our OSAA to facilitate the orderly exit of guests and staff. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, due to some concerns of the members as raised by Congressman Marcoleta and the motion of Senator Aimee to get further documentation and opinions from experts, I move to defer deliberation of the nominee, Secretary Erwin Tulfo. I so move, Mr. Chair.